Hey fam, welcome back to the Dr. Eric K. Coleman Show. We are in the month of November. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. This month, what we're going to be focusing on is thankfulness. Very appropriate topic. So all of the content that we will be discussing this month will be in that vein. It will be coming from that theme or that frame of thought. Before we get into our clip for today, please, ma'am, please, sir, like, share, but most of all, please subscribe to the channel so that you will be up to date and abreast pertaining to everything that is concerning this platform and this channel. The clip that we are going to be commenting and providing commentary on today is, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of this show. It's called Everybody Loves Raymond. Now, just to provide a little bit of context about this show, it's about a man, Ray, who everyone seems to just fall over. Everything is surrounded around him. Everything is centered on him. His thoughts, his feelings, his narrative, most specifically his mother, who just wants to bend over backwards for him. And Marie, she does everything for him. She's a servant at heart. She just wants to please her family. But then you have Ray here, who just seems to be the quintessential example of naiveness, cluelessness, and the stereotypical example or personification of what society wants to showcase a man to be. Someone who is clueless, who's dumb, who's not in control of his household, or the woman is running the house and she's in control. There's a power struggle. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, there are many different approaches or things that I could say about this show that puts the idea of what it is to be a man in a negative spotlight. But what I want to focus on today, again, from the thought process of Thanksgiving, we're in the month of November, and showing appreciation or being thankful for relationships, being thankful for what the other person does in the relationship, not always thinking about what you're not getting out of the relationship, making it self-centered or narcissistic concerning what I want is me, but how often do we stop and just thank the other person that we are in relationship with for what they do, what they contribute, what they bring to the table, not necessarily just because we benefit from it, but because from a genuine place of that we wholeheartedly acknowledge what the other person does. Whether you're both working, whether one person is working, the other was staying home with the kids, or whatever it may be, we all play a role. We all have our place. And I know a lot of people have issue with that word concerning we have a role and a place in the home. But we do. And it's all dependent upon what you and your spouse deems appropriate for your household. And, we can't go in somebody's house and tell them what needs to be done and how they need to run their house. But there is a specific order. There is a specific discipline that needs to be adhered to make sure that the household is running smoothly and that it operates appropriately. So that's what we're going to be discussing today in regards to people's roles in the home, or when they are going to work, whatever it is, whatever your arrangement is. We need to stop and take inventory. Again, whether it's parental, platonic, co-worker, spouse, whatever it is, any type of relationship, How often do we just stop and tell the other person, thank you? I see you. I appreciate you. I notice what you're doing and I want to acknowledge it. And I don't want you to think that all your work is in vain, is for naught, because it all works together. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the clip. It's a very short clip. It's a little over 4 minutes. So this going to be probably a quick show, but I think this is very important in a very kind of comical way as we move into this idea or this topic for the month of November concerning showing appreciation and being thankful for who you have relationships with.
Now you listen to me. We happen to have an opportunity here for some real personal growth through active dialogue.
They just treat Robert so wrong. I just want to throw that out there. Robert gets no respect. He gets, run over, used and abused, but Robert allows it. So that's the very first point here. Is kind of off the subject, but people will only do to you what you allow them to do. Once you create that boundary and stand up for yourself, then people have only two options: move on, don't deal with you anymore, or they respond to your standard. So just keep that in mind.
Stop it, Dad. Now the two of you have to just come out and say what's really bothering you underneath and get it out in the open and deal with it. Because if there's one thing that I have learned in my many years of experience with domestic disputes, it is this: it's never just about the can opener.
So what he's getting at right now, there was a dispute that Ray and his wife Deborah, they've been arguing, and that was one thing when we hear the idiom of the straw that breaks the camel back, meaning there's just so much weightiness on the camel to where one little piece of straw breaks their back and they can no longer handle the burden. So clearly there's an underlining conversation needs to be had concerning why are they so upset with one another. But they are making the argument to be about who left the cap off the toothpaste. So clearly you're not upset about a cap off a toothpaste. It's something's deeper that has built up to this, to where that was just your breaking point. And, now we need to address the elephant in the room. What's really going on? What's at the root of why you're really upset?
Yeah, sometimes it's about a jar of fat.
How could you mention that?
I'll mention it. You went nuts over nothing.
I had every right to go nuts with you for a husband.
Don't go nuts. Just go.
Oh, all right. Okay, wait. What jar of fat?
So clearly, I guess this is something that's brought up a lot in their household or when they were kids, that just never seemed to get away from it. But this actually is the segue into our topic of discussion for today: showing appreciation and being thankful to people. So let's see how this plans out.
I'll tell you what jar of fat. It was beautiful. It was fat from pancetta and golden brown sausage. You'd have to be a cook to understand.
And then that's another thing. I mean, the constant jabs. I mean, this whole family is just dysfunctional. This is the epitome of dysfunction. The mother, she's quote unquote in love with her son. That's her baby boy. So he can do no wrong. She wants to coddle him. She never allowed him to grow up. She wants to do everything for him. She doesn't believe that Deborah is good enough for her. She's not domestic enough for her. It's if she cannot clean and cook and take care of the kids the way that she believes it needs to be done. So she's always going back and forth with Deborah. Deborah is always angry. Always angry. But here's the thing. She knew what she was getting into before she decided to get with Ray in this. She knew what the family was like. So for all intents and purposes, I don't feel sorry for her for the most part because she knew what she was getting into. So yeah, again, the whole family is just dysfunctional. You got Robert, who's a pushover, who does not have any self-respect or confidence in himself. But you know, a lot of that is attributed to his childhood. Again, what we talk about a lot on this platform, a lot of the issues that we deal with are rooted in our childhood. Then you have the father, Ray and Robert's father. He's just totally insensitive. He would, you know, people will call him the man's man. You know, beating his chest, and we'll see a little bit more of that as the clip goes on. But again, all these people have issues. We all got issues, and they all tick each other off from time to time. But it's just very dysfunctional because they have gone, especially Ray, his brother Robert, and their parents. They have a lot of unresolved issues that have never been talked about. And now everything is playing out into the adult years.
But it was months of carefully selecting only the best drippings to prepare meals for Il Duce.
Yeah, you made all those meals just for me, and then you went out jogging.
That was my kitchen. You had no right to go in there and throw out my fat.
That $1 for my coins, I needed that.
You're selfish.
Fat collector.
Oh, you never appreciated me, ever. You never, ever appreciated me. I would work my fingers to the bone all day with the kids, with the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry, and then you'd waltz in with your list of demands and not even a thank you.
That's right.
So here it is. It's no longer about the fat in the can. It's no longer about the top on the toothpaste. Now we're getting to the root of it. She is attributing to his quote unquote insensitivity to throwing out the fat that she carefully chose so that she can prepare him meals. And she's attributing all this to that was her breaking point. I was always looking for a thank you or a sense of appreciation. And you won't even acknowledge that I was saving these drippings because I wanted to make the best meals for you. And so when you threw it out, it was a slap in the face. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, saying you didn't care. You didn't take enough time and consideration to even think about how this would affect me by you throwing this out because it was for you, but it just culminated everything to her. She was already feeling like, hey, there's no appreciation. He doesn't say thank you. He doesn't show me any love. He doesn't acknowledge what I do for him day in and day out by taking care of him and his kids. But again, at that same time, let's be honest, did she ever communicate this? And that's what we talk about a lot of times, y'all, on this show. Do we communicate what's on our mind? You know, or do we have realistic expectations? Do we just have these one-sided conversations in our brain and just expect other people to understand where we're coming from? Do we expect other people to just know how we're feeling? If you don't say anything, how does the other person know?
Deborah understands.
Thank you. Where was my thank you? I waltzed in, huh? I dragged my ass home every day after 10 hours stuck in a suit, stuck in an office, stuck in a car, and if I needed coins to pay the tolls that got me to that job, that paid for that meat, that made that fat, then I'll dump it out whenever I want, and I don't care what you say.
So, to his point, to the father's point, now he's saying, you're mad that I didn't come in the house and say thank you for making the dinner, but never once did you say thank you to me for going to work 8 to 10 hours a day, grinding, so that we could have the money to buy the meat that made the fat of the drippings. So they're both looking for the same thing. They're both looking for some appreciation. They're both looking for the other person to say thank you for what it is that you are contributing to the household so that we could function. No person's role was more important than the other. The father's role was no more important than the mother's role, and the mother's role was no more important than the father's role. Both roles were needed. Both contributions were needed to make the house function. And so they're both saying the same thing here. Hey, I'm waving the flag. I just want to feel appreciated. But and to the same point, did he ever say to Marie, hey, I'm not feeling appreciated here? All you saw was I came in the house and I tossed out the fat because I needed something to put the coins in, because I needed to store those coins to pay the toll so I can get to and fro from work. Now, was it ever communicated to her that, did she ever communicate to him that she was collecting the fat for the purpose of cooking? So again, it's all about the communication. But, a lot of times people will say, well, you should have just known. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. That's stupidity. We are not telepathic. We can't read each other's minds. Open your mouth. Say what you mean. Say what is on your mind. And don't bottle this stuff up until it reaches the point to now you want to pull every little thing together into the conversation, which it has really nothing to do with the conversation. You're talking about the toothpaste, the cap not being on, but clearly you're pissed off about something else. It's not about the toothpaste. It's not about the fat or the drippings. The root core context is I never felt appreciated. Let's continue.
That's right. You don't care. You have never cared about how hard I worked just to serve you.
See, come on. Let's be honest. She didn't hear anything he said. She's still in her emotions and her feelings. Just like him, he was in his emotion and his feelings. He said, I don't care how you felt because you didn't give me what I wanted. And she's saying the same thing. I don't care what you say because you didn't give me what I wanted. And so now there's this dichotomy. It's this quid pro quo in the relationship. I'm not going to give you what you want unless you give me what I want. That's not how relationships work. You just can't not do something for somebody just because you're not getting what you want out of the relationship. That's not how this works. You got to be willing to go that extra mile. But again, if you're not feeling as if you're not getting what you want out of the relationship, especially when we're talking about marriage, again, open your mouth and discuss it. What is the issue? What is the problem? Just don't expect the other person to know, because that's not fair. That's not reality. Because we dwell in this fictitious reality concerning what love is and what relationships are. And I've said this time and time again, we want to treat relationships like they're organic, like they're just going to naturally grow and blossom and bloom into something amazing and awesome. And we have this fairy tale mentality that if you just lay eyes on somebody and the man comes in and rescues the woman, the damsel in distress, and they live happily ever after, that is not reality. The world has sold us a bill of goods that don't meet standard. It's just not true. It's just not accurate. If you want a productive relationship where it's filled with love, compassion, appreciation, and thankfulness, you have to cultivate that. You have to put in the work, the blood, the sweat, the energy, the equity into it to make it what you want it to be. Just don't expect the other person to make it what you want it to be, and you're not putting forth the effort to make it come to fruition.
Hey, I don't have to care. That's your job.
Now, let's back this up a little bit. He just said that he doesn't have to care how she feels. that's her job. So let me play that again, and then we're gonna unpack that a little bit.
Hard I work just to serve you.
Hey, I don't have to care. That's your job.
Now let's talk about that a little bit. He says he doesn't have to care how you feel about it. That's your job. Now, some of y'all gonna get on me for this, and I'm prepared for it. But as a man, first of all, I'm gonna say I don't agree with what he said, especially how he said it to her. Because he should care. Is that her job? Is that her job? Is that her role? Is that what they had agreed to? Then yes, that is her role. That is her responsibility. That is quote unquote her job in the relationship, as she decided to take on that. That's what they agreed to mutually, that this would be your role in the relationship, as to be the homemaker and take care of the kids. That's what they agreed to. Now, is that her role? Is that her job? Absolutely. But to say that you do not have to care about what she's doing and how she feels about it, that is not okay. But let's take it on the flip side. By him going out every day and working 10, 12 hours a day, that is his job. That's what he's supposed to do. Now, it's just the way that it is in society that, if she would have said that to him, that's your job, 9 times out of 10, we wouldn't think more of it, because let's be honest, the way society has built things out in relationships, and we were talking about the paradigm, or breaking that word down, or seeing two things together and putting it on display, the paradigm, or the accepted practice or culture that has been put out there in society when we talk about relationships. That's what the responsibility that has been placed on man, even from a biblical perspective. That's our job. That's our role. No matter how we feel about it, whether we like it or not, we are supposed to go out there and make money and provide and protect and be the priest of our household for our families. No matter how we feel about it, our emotions does not come into place about how we feel about it. It's our responsibility and our job to go do it, regardless of our emotion. So from a core context, it's accurate. But we've said before, you can be right and wrong at the same time. You can be right, but you can be wrong in your approach, in your demeanor, in your timing, in your tone, in your level of sensitivity, all those things. So again, I know some people may not agree with me on that one, but hey, I'm sorry. The truth is the truth.
On the other hand, sometimes it can be about the can opener.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, me too.
Wow, they forced them to make up.
Sorry.
Yeah, me too. Sorry.
Wow. Their fighting made them make up. Interesting.
That's it? Sorry? That's all you got? At least when we fight, stuff comes out.
Some of it will be coming out when we get home. Let's go.
Coming.
So that's my job, Frank?
Yeah. I didn't say you were bad at it.
Thank you. I'm still mad at you.
Well, that's all right. At least it's not about a can opener.
A can opener.
Good luck, Ray.
I can still see you, Frank.
So, wow, that's deep. So again, it's quite interesting. Like we were saying that, people are sitting here talking about, how I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that out of the relationship. This person isn't giving me all that I want, all that I desire, all that I need, all that I believe that I am entitled to have. But the question always remains, what are you bringing to the relationship? The level of appreciation that you want the other person to show you, are you showing them? The level of thankfulness that you want people to give you in the relationship, are you giving it to them? So we always got to take this self-reflective look about how we show up in the relationship. It's just not always about us. And I talk about this in chapter 4, unrealistic expectations. The expectations that we have about other people, can we meet the same standards? And before we close out, let me go to chapter 4 because there's some really good questions that are posed here that I just want us to reflect upon in the self-reflective portion of the book. Do I exhibit the same level of expectation that I require of others? Number 2, why do I expect so much of other people? Number 3, do I assist others in becoming better to benefit them or myself? Number 4, do I want people to change just to make me happy, all the while I remain the same? Number 5, does everything offend me? Number 6, what is my process in developing new relationships? Do I ask hard questions or do I just expect other people to know? And number 7, do your expectations of others dwell in reality or fairy tale land? Goals, desires, aspirations, and healthy relationships are all achievable. However, if they are prefaced with unrealistic expectations, the road towards these things can and will be extremely cumbersome. That's chapter 4 of the book Paradigm, Thinking Different About Relationships. So again, fam, we got to do the work on ourselves. And once we do the work on ourselves, we can then impact our families, impact our communities, society, the nation, and we can take this thing globally. And so until next time, fam, please continue to think differently about relationships. Peace.